Okay, hi, and welcome everyone to TTRP Theater's premiere of Star Trek Sagittarius. I want to thank Cryptic Studios for rating us earlier. A few of you stuck around, which is great. I'm excited to see you guys watch our actual play of Star Trek Adventures produced by Movidius. So, as you will be able to see, our nice little LCAR layout, we have our fancy ship. Let's get ready to jump into it. Before we get started, although some of you that are patrons or subscribers from channels recognize me, the Vampire Interpreter, I help put the show together, but I'm not running it. I'm just being involved in it. So let's get around to the introductions of our cast and crew, and then we'll go ahead and get started with Star Trek Sagittarius. So we'll go ahead and start with me. Hi, everyone. I'm the Vampire Interpreter. You can find me on Instagram as the Vampire Interpreter. I have a ton of shows here on TTRP Theater, but frankly, if you're interested, stick around, go click on some other stuff. Sinners and Saint, Vengeance and Vaulderie. I have my own talk show, yada yada. If you like our stuff, you'll see more of me. But you're here for Star Trek action, not to hear about vampires. So let's go ahead and jump over to the man of the next 3 hours, Dawn. Dawn, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you're looking forward to for this stream?
So maybe let's go with person of the next 3 hours. I'm Don.
Oh,
I'm also known.
There we see. I'm already. I apologize, Dawn, and we will hopefully we'll talk about our consent mechanics and all that in a minute. But let's go ahead, Dawn, take it away.
So I'm Don. My pronouns are they, them. I am a streamer on Twitch. I generally stream Elite Dangerous at Phoenix Blue Zero, but Adam invited me to run a Star Trek Adventures session based on having been in one of my previous games, and I was delighted to say yes. So as with my previous game, this one is set in the Star Trek Online timeline and setting, and you will see a little bit more of that later. And for the folks who've been asking in chat, we will work a T60 berth into the narrative tonight.
Awesome. I am a big fan of Star Trek Online. I think I have a level 63 Romulan on the Xbox One. Tons of fun. Nice. Let's jump over to our Chief Medical Officer, Megan. Megan, why don't you go and introduce yourself? That's right, I forgot to talk about the characters we're playing. I'm playing the Master Chief, Jonathan Rex. Find out more about me in a minute, but let's jump over to Megan. Megan, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character you're playing and what you're looking forward to.
Guys, I'm Megan. I am playing Lieutenant Commander Zardana Aranval. I am the Chief Medical Officer on this ship. And I am, in general, just so excited to explore the unknown and to get to know these characters better, just from discussions of how things are going to go and what everybody's ideas are. I'm very excited to fully meet everybody and just see how everything plays out.
All right, exciting. Let's jump down to one of our veterans here at TTRP Theater. We'll jump down to you, Catherine. Catherine, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character and what you're looking forward to here in this stream.
I'm Catherine. You can find me on Instagram at smallfry. I will be playing Lieutenant Leela Moroy, and I'm going to be the Chief Tactical Officer. So I'm ready to go and kick some butt.
Sorry, I was getting feedback on our sounds. The background noise is just a tiny bit too loud. Thank you, T-Dorf. T-Dorf's one of our favorites here. And I'm going to back down the bridge sounds just a little bit. T-Dorf, I'm going to count on you. Tell me if that is where we're at. All right, sorry about that. I'm doing the live direction here, so if you see me looking off, it's not because I'm not engaged. There's a million buttons to press, and they're not as nice as LCARs. Let's jump over, though, to Ian. Ian, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us about the character you'll be playing and what you're looking forward to in this stream.
Right, I'm Ian. You may have seen me before if you're following Adam around as I am. I was in his Grim and Perilous stream. I'm now also in a Grim and Perilous stream on alternating Wednesdays from this, which is the new fire and blood system. I think I said that right. Where I'll be playing a character in that. And we always have a lot of fun. This is a great cast, and we're gonna have a blast. In this particular thing, I'm playing the Chief Flight Control Officer, Lieutenant Havan Jor. And I'm looking forward to maybe putting the Sagittarius into a barrel roll.
All right, there you go.
Ian also plays Star Trek Online, which is awesome. He's been playing since what, 2012?
Oh, it was a long time. Yeah, I'm kind of on and off with it, but I love the game. It's a beautiful game and lots of fun.
All right, sounds good. And last but certainly not least, Julia, who I played with briefly last minute, thought, wouldn't that be fun to play with you again? And you will be playing our captain. So Julia, go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us about your character and what you're looking forward to with the stream.
My name is Julia. I am playing Captain Mistral, and so I'll be your captain. When I'm not doing that, I write LARPs and role-playing games. Most recently, I wrote a LARP with Kat Jones called The Sleepover, which is in Honey and Hot Wax anthology by Pelgrane Press. And I teach special ed in middle school. So I am most looking forward to playing with people I've never played with before. This is also my first time doing like a long-term streaming thing, so I'm looking forward to that too.
All right, everyone. So welcome. We're going to do a real quick overview of consent mechanics before we dive into it. I am, by the extension, Dawn and everyone here. We use a modified version of Monty Cook's Consent in Gaming. We have green, yellow, and red topics. Star Trek, I really rarely, I believe, will come into some of my more standard red topics, which is usually extreme graphic violence and sexual assault. Yellow topics, most of this will deal with the social issues we'll bring up. The players will announce if they think they're approaching a yellow topic. A common one is intimacy. Everyone has to agree to the parameters. So let's say the captain comes up to the Master Chief and Julia says, Adam, yellow topic, my Vulcan's going to attempt to flirt with you. I can say, that's fine, we can all agree. Or I can say, you know what, nothing too explicit. It's Star Trek, I doubt it's going to be that explicit, but those are the parameters. Green topics are things that are open. So if you hear us bring that up, that's what we're doing. We're trying to be safe here in our Star Trek world. If you're having fun and want to see more here, we have a Discord. I'll drop it. I dropped it in there earlier, but why don't you come join us there? If you're watching this live on Twitch, go ahead and follow us. That costs you absolutely nothing, and you'll know when Star Trek Sagittarius is coming on. If you're watching this on YouTube afterwards, please click the like and subscribe button. It literally costs you nothing. And last but certainly not least, if you want to maybe toss us a couple of bucks by subscribing to the show, go ahead and do that. As always, maybe pick up the Mophidius Star Trek book. Always a good way to help them out. Or since Cryptic Studios has provided via their amazing game some of the kind of background for this, maybe you should pick up some Star Trek online, give it a try. One of the best Star Trek space combat games I have played ever, with the exception of the ancient Star Trek 25th anniversary for like back in the day for DOS. I loved getting lost and fighting the Alassi pirates over and over, but sometimes you can't beat nostalgia. With that being said, let's go ahead and get it started. I'm going to turn it over to you, Dawn, to lead us on our exciting adventure of Star Trek Sagittarius.
Fantastic. How do I follow that up? 25th anniversary was good. Star Trek Bridge Commander was another good one. Without further ado, though, let's get into the story. So our story starts out at Earth Space Dock. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it's a large space station, 5 miles or so in length, probably about a third of that in diameter. Sits in geosynchronous orbit above Earth's Atlantic Ocean, so it has visibility over parts of North America and parts of Europe and Africa. And we zoom in towards Deck 47 on Earth Space Dock, where inside the clinic, our illustrious Captain Mistral is being seen by a nurse for some facial contusions. Nurse is kind of waving a tricorder and examining the green discoloration right along the top of your jaw, or right along the bottom of the orbit, Captain, and says, it's rather unusual to get a bruise there unless you've been fighting. But that would be silly. Vulcans aren't the violent type, right?
No, not usually.
And having finished the scan, the nurse pulls out a small dermal regenerator, takes it over the spot, and as they're treating the spot, as they're treating the bruise, you get a chirp on your comm badge.
All right.
Captain, Admiral Quinn here. I was expecting him in my office 5 minutes ago.
I had a bit of an emergency. I'm in sickbay. I will be there shortly.
Roger that, Captain. Is everything okay?
Yes.
All right. I'll see you shortly. And with that, he cuts the connection out.
Can we finish this up fast, please?
Say again?
Could we finish this up fast, please?
Oh, yes, of course, of course. And as they are wrapping that up, we do a quick cut over to the lounge in Club 47, where we see a Bajoran dressed in a red uniform, sitting by himself at one of the tables. He's enjoying a glass of Bajoran spring wine, kind of lost in the moment. And Havan, that's it. You almost don't notice a smaller individual, large nose, full beard, very small eyes, whom you immediately recognize as a Tellarite. But who, unlike most Tellarites you've encountered during your time in Starfleet, seems rather cheerful. Like, it's not typical to see a smile on the face of a Tellarite. He says, "Got room for one more?"
I suppose if you want.
And he sits down next to you, and he's got like this mug of something, and you're not sure what it is, but you can almost feel your nostrils start to flare up from the scent of it. It's very strong, whatever it is. He says, "I hear you've been assigned to that new ship they've got in space dock."
Yes, the Sagittarius.
"That's the one. We're going to be crewmates. I'm Dash."
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Dash. What's your position?
Well, I'm the engineer. And a ship like the Sagittarius, she's got something that only a few ships before have had, that I think you're going to enjoy. You're a helm officer, right?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
assigned to the chief flight control officer, so I'll have the helm most of the time.
What's the fastest you've been in a starship? And he just kind of leans in over his drink.
Well, up until now, maybe warp 8.
You ever heard of Slipstream? And he just kind of gets this big grin on his face.
It sounds risky.
Well, you're flying with one of the people who developed the drive that you're going to be flying with, so I wouldn't worry too much about the risk, and think about how much fun it's going to be.
I try not to think of fun when it comes to operating a starship.
Oh my goodness! If you're not having fun doing whatever you're doing on a ship, what are you doing on the ship?
Keeping my crew safe. See, when people have too much fun and they don't think, that's when people die. And I kind of look out into space.
You lost people then.
No, it's not uncommon in Starfleet, is it?
Well, no, not after the Iconians. And he just kind of looks down at his drink for a minute.
And after all that, we're just going to take a fancy new starship and point it in one of those stars out there and hope for the best.
Well, here's hoping for the best. He just kind
It's
of
going to take all of us.
picks up his glass, raising it kind of in a toast.
Toast him back, crinkling my nose a little bit.
And as the two of you share a toast, we cut to a view of the ship herself. And as you can see, you can actually see the Sagittarius Havan through the glass. Like there's part of Earth Space Dock's interior is visible across from the dance floor, and you can see the ship. It's got with the main deflector, kind of the T section on the top of it looks like a multi-mission pod. She looks built for long-range missions. And she looks built for science, judging by her secondary deflector on the top. And as our view kind of draws close, we get into the docking corridor, where we see Lieutenant Moroi having a conversation with a polite but somewhat determined Master Chief Petty Officer, who's got a bottle of Templeton rye whiskey in his hand.
Now I understand that this is technically considered contraband, but it is the prerogative of the captain of the starship to be able to waive such regulations. I was hoping I would be able to speak to her, I say to the person giving me a hard time.
And that would be none other than Lieutenant Moroi.
Oh, gosh, okay, I thought it was a random extra. Okay, then rather I say, Lieutenant, perhaps I could speak to the captain. After all, I will produce my orders. I am the inspecting petty officer sent on behalf of the fleet. She might be able to bend this small rule.
We have rules for a reason. The captain is busy at the moment.
You are absolutely correct, Lieutenant. Is it possible for you to leave that here in some sort of locker until I have time to speak with the captain? I promise I am on her itinerary, ma'am.
Very well.
He's telling the truth.
Very well. You can store it in the third locker to the left.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Since I am already aboard the vessel, I was hoping, Lieutenant, that you could perhaps give me a tour. We could start with security. I have spent many decades with the Makos. I'm certain I will be quite pleased by what I see.
Very well. You may follow me.
Excellent, Lieutenant. Please, lead the way. It's been a while since I've been on a ship this big. And I understand that this ship is not the biggest. But still.
No. But
when he says that, Lieutenant, you immediately kind of see in his mind's eye a picture of like an image of an Odyssey class starship, which are basically floating cities, the crew of about 2,000. So.
That being said, it is particularly difficult to read my mind.
Good to know. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. I have the specialization mental discipline or something or other. Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna give you the I'm gonna rewind and give you some stink eye.
Lieutenant Maroy, I believe you are, judging by your personnel file, you are of Beta Z. You will find reading my mind to be a little bit more difficult, being a Mako and being trapped in a Cardassian military base under torture tends to make one quite resilient.
Fair. Should be interesting.
Oh, I promise you, Lieutenant, I am always interesting.
Well, maybe I can get some of those stories out of your head.
Ma'am, any stories you may read out of my head that may be a little too classified, that being said, I trust you will not repeat them.
Absolutely not.
Please, Lieutenant, lead the way.
And we will go on our long walk.
Okay. As you you go on your tour, it doesn't take a very long time because most of the Sagittarius is equipped for exploration, for science. It's that all being said, it has some fairly extensive shuttle bays, including 2 Delta Flyer class shuttlecraft and a number of smaller Type 9 shuttles. And Lieutenant, you're particularly proud to show off the ship's the ship's weapons complement, phaser arrays, phaser cannons, and quantum torpedoes, which you have spent no small amount of time familiarizing yourself with in the couple of weeks that you've been preparing for the Sagittarius initial cruise.
Quantum torpedoes, Lieutenant. I tell you, there's one time I had to rig one of these on a delayed Here I go again with my stories. You keep this place, ship-shape. I like it. Everything where it's supposed to be.
As it should be.
Indeed, especially in this area. Rattle a cage a little too hard, or you get a bull in a china shop, it's going to cause some drastic consequences for the rest of the ship.
Oh, I assure you that my team and all of us, I would say, are ready and prepared.
Excellent. I will be certain to observe that for myself and probably make note of it in my report. After all, paperwork is paperwork. I defer to your good judgment, Lieutenant. Where should we go next?
And on that note, we cut away to Admiral Quinn's office with a briefing that has gotten off to an abrupt start as Captain Mistral enters and kind of does the other Picard maneuver, straightening out the uniform. As she walks in, the Admiral dismisses his aide and says, "Captain, glad you could make it. Please have a seat."
I sit down.
And he hands you a pad across the desk with orders to assume command of the Sagittarius. It's going to be your first command in a couple of years. The last time you were in command, not having gone quite as productively as you might have wished. But while he's handing you the pad, he says, "Captain, Sagittarius is going to be one of the few ships equipped with an extended range slipstream drive. I want you to take her out on a shakedown cruise there's been some difficulty trying to reach the Midas array. It's gone offline. Without the Midas array, we don't have any communication with our task force in the Carina Nebula, and we have limited communication with our task forces in the Delta Quadrant. Needless to say, it's extremely important we get that back up. Most of our other ships would take days to reach the array, but you and the Sagittarius can get there in a matter of minutes.
Excellent. All right. What else do I need?
Let me look over Mistral's history here. Captain, I want you to know I have full faith in your ability to lead and command a ship.
So do I.
Excellent. I look forward to your report. Dismissed.
Okay.
And let's see. On your way out of the office, out of Admiral Quinn's office, I'm actually going to give you the narrative. What are you inclined to do with this?
I'm going to go to my quarters
Mm-hmm.
and do some paperwork.
Okay.
Look over who my crew's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to some music. Pick the playlist for our leaving.
Yeah.
Send out my messages to acquaintances and family. Check the eye again, see if it looks presentable to go on.
The nurse did an adequate job. Your skin looks undamaged.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna chill out. But I am looking through and I want to know who I'm working with.
Okay.
Would any names stand out? I feel like I don't. It's been a couple of years. So, and many of the people I've worked with are no longer around. So,
yep.
Yeah.
So one of the names that immediately stands out is Jonathan Rex, Chief Master Petty Officer. Not a name that you expected to see. Last you had heard, he was on assignment to the USS Dauntless. Apparently, he was called back for reassignment rather recently. The other senior staff include Lieutenant Commander Dashpav Shah, Chief Engineer, who who helped design the prototype slipstream drive that's equipped on Sagittarius and a few other ships. Really no longer a prototype at this stage. It's been tested, just not on a Brigid-class starship. Your chief science officer is Lex Tripp. Human, looks like a very quickly rising star, just made lieutenant junior grade, about a year ahead of normal.
All right.
Lieutenant Commander Zardana Ehrenval is your chief medical officer, Ryzian, with a good, strong background in psychiatry and counseling.
Yes, we've worked together before.
Your chief of security, Lieutenant Leila Moroy, is a betazoid with a strong background in forensics, who has developed a very good talent at using her telepathy to sort of fortify her intuition.
Okay. Does she have accommodations to keep the noise to a minimum?
In terms of like telepathic training?
Yeah. I mean, just the ambient telepathic noise that she would hear.
Gotcha. She's nodding yes. So
When I'm sleeping,
yeah.
I have a deprivation chamber.
Okay, great.
And last but not least, Lieutenant Havanjor, Bajoran, who has piloted a couple of ships, but does not appear to have experience piloting a ship with slipstream.
Okay.
So that might be a new thing for him, but he does have a solid record.
All right. Fantastic. So about how many people do I have on this ship?
You have a crew of about 400.
All right. And anything of note that we're carrying?
So the ship's labs are modular. Pardon me, just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
The ship's labs are modular, so they can be quickly retrofitted toward a particular discipline of science, kind of on an as-needed basis.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, and the slipstream drive, she's got a top warp speed of warp 9.997, a complement of quantum torpedoes, phaser cannons, and phaser arrays. So obviously Starfleet's first instinct is not to fight, but after the Iconian War, it would be irresponsible to send a ship out that couldn't defend itself.
Okay. All right. So I would like to send a little message to the chief medical officer.
Okay.
Just be like a hi.
Like a text message or an actual communique?
I don't think I'm ready to talk yet.
Okay.
Just a little text, like it's like a hey, hey, glad, awkwardly, like GLAD. No. It is a surprise that it will be interesting to see you. Thank you for your service. All right, and I just hit send. I'm just like, whatever.
As far as communicators are concerned, in the way of texting, what are we looking at? Are we looking at?
So I just like the texting here. We're going very 2021 here in our 24th century.
So let's borrow a little bit of theatric technology from Discovery in terms of for a text message, just being able to double tap your communicator and it comes up on a little holo display in front of you.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes, the chief medical officer is Ryzian.
I will note the message. And I will simply respond, I am glad you are well.
And then there's a little, you too.
Hashtag smiley face.
Hashtag smile. It's the Vulcan smiley face. It's more like
The eyebrow. I love it.
And Lieutenant Commander Arenval will sort of spend her free time pondering said message and kind of psychoanalyzing what exactly the thought process there is. Narrowing down how it will actually be when we come face to face.
What did it mean? What did it mean?
Does the smile?
I was like, we should talk, and then no, not ready yet. We should chat.
Yeah, I hope
High
the audience
five.
is ready for our damaged characters on this ship. Trust me, it's gonna get even better.
Yeah, it's just we should have words. No, that doesn't sound right. We should have a communication. Yes. Yeah. And
Lieutenant Arenval will actually take a moment and just say, Captain, are you free to talk now? I feel like it would be best in this situation that we communicate as much as possible while we still have the moment to, when we are not in the midst of anything important.
All I heard is when it gets juicy, I'm totally walking into that room.
yes, perhaps that would be best. We could at least start now. Yeah. Join me in my quarters.
I assume that I have familiarized myself with the ship, at least the parts that I will be frequenting for the most part, and will make my way over to the captain's quarters.
Okay. A few moments later, chime at the door.
Come in.
I will enter and say, you know, Captain, I'm getting some very mixed signals here. The beginning, I mean, you know, leave my people for dead, and now you ask me into your quarters.
Leave your people for dead? When did that happen?
I don't know if you recall, but you remember the order that you made to get everybody out of the ship, and how there were people still on that ship?
They were dead.
You may believe what you wish. I am not here to argue with anybody. I'm simply here to do my job.
We needed to get out as many people as we could. Otherwise, we were all going to die.
Well, you are the captain.
Would you like some tea? We are going to have to work together. At some point, we should definitely talk about what happened. And even now, perhaps I'm not quite ready to do that. And clearly we have very different perspectives about what did happen. But I know that you are a friendly person. And we could at least try to be cordial.
As long as we are on the same page that the lives of our crew are the most important thing here.
Without a doubt.
Then we'll get along fine.
Great. Okay.
And I'm not a fan of tea. I apologize for declining, but
oh,
it's not
no,
really
it's
my cup of tea, not to be pedantic about it. I have things to do in a separate room that is not here, so excuse me.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for visiting.
Yes, thank you for the pleasant conversation.
Yes, it was pleasant. It was a good start.
And she will exit.
And you have never seen an officer leave your quarters quite so quickly, Captain. Coconut Clifford, thanks for the sub. So, does anyone have anything that they would like to do before we do a scene change and kind of move the timeline forward a little bit?
I would like to find out about this contraband.
That's true. You would have received a report about a bottle of Templeton Rye whiskey from Iowa, as you understand. That was left in the contraband locker by none other than Chief Petty Officer Jonathan Rex.
Oh, this is nice. I guess I should return it. It's fine. I don't care if it's there. I'm not gonna drink it. We're gonna be gone for a long time.
I'm not allowed to bring it on the ship because it's real alcohol without your permission.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't care. I sign the little thingy, or click it and send a. This is not a text. This is like.
So it actually shows up to you, Chief, in the form of a data pad from a yeoman. Pardon me, Master Chief. Captain signed off on your exemption.
It says, "Come and get your booze." At the bottom.
I see the captain still has a sense of humor.
Sir,
well, with that,
Captain's Vulcan.
Well, that's their sense of humor. Yeoman, even Vulcans have their own. Regardless, it's not important. Thank you for your time. I will, Lieutenant, if it's okay with you, I will grab my contraband, report to my quarters, and then I will hopefully see you on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Enjoy your stay.
Oh, I look forward to it. I love getting out there in the great black, rustling up some trouble. And I intend, or rather I suspect, we will find it.
Hopefully not too much.
On the contrary, I hope just enough. If you'll excuse me, Lieutenant.
And
so yeah, I'll go get my stuff, get unpacked in my quarters, and then I am ready to move on if everyone else is.
Yeah. And Chief, you get just the slightest twinge in your shoulder as you're unpacking your belongings, and you could swear that twinge just gets a little bit worse every wintertime.
It's always cold in space. Always cold in space. I'll put my stuff away very neatly in my dresser. And we're going to say I pull out a black box that's locked, and I'm going to slide it under my bed.
All right. So we're going to do a scene change here. Now, in Star Trek Adventures, that would normally involve me deducting a momentum as part of the scene change. Now, this is a little bit different because the group doesn't have any momentum yet. There's none to deduct. But I wanted to introduce that part of the mechanic for folks who are not familiar with the Star Trek Adventures system. Momentum is something that allows players to subtly change the narrative of the story. They can give themselves advantages, or they can give me a disadvantage. Now, I also have threat, which does not degrade as the scene changes, that I can use to give myself or give their enemies an advantage, or to give them a disadvantage. Now, Star Trek Adventures is not something I view as adversarial. we're telling a story together. So I'm not out to do total party kill. That would just be boring. So what you will see is us finding ways to create advantages and disadvantages that will help tell an interesting story. With that said, let's move on to the bridge. And we will call it the next day. Captain, your senior staff is kind of getting themselves settled in. There are duty officers kind of bustling about, making sure everything is good for departure from space dock. And the bridge is yours.
All right. All systems ready?
I will approach the captain's chair. Captain, it has been a long, long time.
What happened to your hair?
Well, it's been a long, long time, and I understand you all live long time, but unfortunately, humans don't always do, so I hope you'll just have to get used to it.
I could get used to that.
Why, thank you, Captain. I've been sent here on behalf of the fleet to observe your shakedown cruise and any ancillary missions that Starfleet deems appropriate. Other than that, you know I don't like to sit still for too terribly long, so you absolutely tell me if there's anything I can do to help you, because it is ever so terribly boring to sit in my office.
Well, I don't have a number 1 yet, do I?
You don't. And interestingly enough, it doesn't look like there's a billet for it.
That could be interesting. What would you think of being number 1?
Well, Captain, again, this is your ship. As far as Starfleet's concerned, you're pretty much God Almighty given flesh on board. I have been in command of 3 vessels, usually much smaller, but if... how could I ever refuse you, Captain? If you need some help, and you need someone to serve as your first officer while I inspect the ship at the same time, I am quite certain I am more than capable of doing that.
I'm sure.
Computer, please note the time and date in the ship's log as of 0085 hours. Master Chief Petty Officer Rex is acting first officer.
Do I take a sword and put it over your shoulder or something?
No, we only do that in the Makos, ma'am. I don't think that's particularly proper here. Okay. I will take my seat.
Logged. Master Chief Petty Officer Jonathan Rex assumes position of First Officer effective stardate 89458.33.
Okay, well, in that case, Lieutenant, referring to the helmsman.
Aye, sir?
Master Chief will do. I didn't spend this long getting all these gray hairs. Regardless, clear all moorings, prepare to leave space dock. I will leave the course and speed. I will leave the speed to you, Lieutenant. Captain, heading?
Lieutenant, you get to pick the first song today.
And not to put too fine a point on things, but it looks like from where you're sitting, the best first course would be out through the space doors.
Well, if it pleases the captain, I'll release the docking clamps first, and then we'll move at a eighth impulse out into, well, a position in which we won't hit any more debris.
Are you certain?
Nothing is ever certain, but that seems to be the best course at the moment.
Yes, but are you certain?
Yes, Captain.
I need to hear some certainty in your voice because I don't want this nice, lovely ship to get hit by space debris. Are you certain?
I am certain.
Excellent.
The debris here is particularly large, being other ships.
Let's not hit them.
All right. So with this, let's do the first roll of the game. This is going to be Control Con for you, Lieutenant. And
I'm laughing about screwing this up.
oh yeah, the difficulty. This is going to be a difficulty 0 task. You could do
Okay.
this in your sleep. We are
Right.
essentially doing this to generate momentum.
Okay. All right, roll is set up, I think, and
Yep.
hitting the button.
Okay, that sound effect you heard is the fact that we use the Roll20 system, and you got 2 successes. So because you got 2 successes and the difficulty was 0, that means the group gets 2 momentum. Any member of the group can spend that momentum, but the group only can have up to 6.
Ooh, that reminds me. I think I know a way. I'll add momentum to our screen so then the audience can see our current momentum.
Okay,
I'll do that next time, guys.
I've got it in Roll20, but sure.
It'll look cool for them. You know, I'm trying to be
absolutely.
fancy over here.
So the lieutenant effortlessly, Captain, clears the moorings and navigates the ship out through space doors. And she departs majestically, looking much like the Enterprise did back in Star Trek VI, for those of you who've seen that film. The traffic near Earth space dock is cleared way for Starfleet Starship. Try saying that 3 times fast. And the board is green.
Captain, all stations report ready. We are clear from space dock's gravity well, ready to engage warp drive at your command.
All right, let's do it. And please make sure people know what they're doing, that they at least exude some confidence, because it will come after that.
I will do my best as, I guess, the first officer, now morale officer, to whip everyone into ship shape. If that is your order, Captain. Lieutenant, why don't you get this puppy riding straight to the second start of the ride, straight on till morning.
All right.
It has to be some
calculate.
sort of human turn of phrase, because you have no idea where that is.
My apologies. What's our mission? Where are we going again?
Midas Array is several days away at maximum warp, about 10 minutes away at slipstream velocities. And slipstream is something that Chief, you're a little bit familiar with. You've been on a ship with slipstream before.
Are you talking? I'm sorry. Did we say Chief? I'm sorry.
I did.
No doubt. I'm sorry. I probably have, but I probably can't talk about it. That's why I spaced out. So with that, it is our mission. It is a priority mission. Lieutenant, prepare to engage slipstream drive. Get ready for those bumps in the river. We do not know our approach, but are we well within Federation space? Is that where we're going?
The Midas Array is on the edge of Federation space and close to the Klingon border, but at the moment, there's no real concern about hostility.
Gotcha. Well, in that case, once the course laid in, Lieutenant, Captain, we can giddy up on your order.
All right. Can we also make sure that the translators are able to translate idiomatic phrases and euphemisms for those of us who have no idea what you just said?
Captain, we are ready to execute the warp drive slipstream when we are at your command. And
Right.
be careful, we may experience subspace turbulence, which is totally not a thing, but I'm not a scientist, so.
Narrator,
Just
it is in fact a thing.
Slipstream drive, reading nominal levels. We are prepared to enter slipstream. Course
Okay.
laid into the array. On your
So-
orders, Captain.
All right, let's go. I need to get a good, clever phrase. Maybe we'll have a contest or something.
I thought giddy up was just fine.
I don't understand what that means.
Lieutenant, you have your order. Execute.
Aye, sir. And I
Hey, given your unfamiliarity with Slipstream, Lieutenant, this is going to be a somewhat more complicated task. It is still going to be Control Con. The difficulty is going to be 2, and the ship is going to assist.
Can I assist him as well by telling him to watch out for those, bumps in the road?
Certainly.
All right, I will do.
Yep.
Yeah, I can roll too.
I'll say you're assisting with insight and command.
I was thinking it was going to be presence and idioms. No, I'm just kidding.
Presence,
and
presence
idioms.
works.
No, I'm joking with the captain. I will take insight.
Sure.
Why not?
does,
I'm terrible
does
at
my
insight,
focus,
but that's okay.
does my focus and astronavigation apply?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I'm gonna check my here. No,
I forgot what that does, but I know it applies.
Okay.
Did I
You got
roll?
1 success from the Master Chief. You got 2. And you got 1 from the ship. So
Big money.
y'all generate an additional 2 momentum. The thing about Star Trek Adventures is the characters will build up momentum pretty quickly, because unlike beginning level characters in Dungeons and Dragons, they're trained. They've been through Starfleet Academy. They're some of the best at what they do. And as we've seen from the first 2 rolls, they are so far nailing it. Slipstream Drive is online and engaging in 3, 2, 1. And the normal warp field, Lieutenant, gets replaced with kind of a shimmering blue-white tunnel that the ship enters immediately. Having played Star Trek Online, you kind of know what the Slipstream tunnel looks like, but for our players, it is, well, for folks who've watched Voyager, you may also know what it looks like. And we've got a little sound effect here too, yeah.
Do we need me to shake the camera?
No, we should be fine there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if you're shaking in Slipstream, there's trouble.
Profit, that's incredible.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it, Lieutenant? Watch out for that anomaly up ahead there.
That was excellent navigation, Lieutenant. I don't have a good euphemism for that. That was very good.
Yeehaw.
Giddy up? Is that what it was?
Giddy up is reference to riding horses, to tell a horse to go faster sometimes. I will take my seat next to the captain.
Estimated time of arrival is within 10 minutes.
Did you pick a song yet? I mean, we'll be there in 10 minutes. Maybe pick a short song.
I would cue something up, probably something old.
We have about reached the halfway point in our stream, so why don't we take a 10-minute break?
Sounds good. So
And we will see you all when we arrive at our destination, the Midas Array.
All right, I'm going to take over real quick. Just like Don said, We're going to be gone for 10 minutes. We'll transition over, a nice little fun thing to watch. Stick around, like and subscribe. I'll drop the Discord in there. Totally join the Discord where you can chat with us anytime. Maybe we can all of us get together and start playing some Star Trek Online. That'd be kind of fun. That'd be neat time. So.
Tactical fusion cube decloaks, and you see this Borg ship the size of a moon just appeared. Oh, are we? Oh, hi. So welcome back. So we are kind of. There we go. Got everybody back. Did a quick little 10-minute.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize the video ends. I thought I had it on repeat, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that awkward blackness.
All right. Well, we're good now, right?
Yes, we're good. It's just the video ended. It went to black, and I was like, oh. I thought it was going to repeat.
Dead air.
Yeah, exactly. Dead air. Did not like that. The blackness of space. It's funny, Tito said, I have a black space, the old Windows 95 screensaver thing. I just didn't transfer it over. I should have set that up.
That takes me back. Holy crap.
Yeah. All right, sorry about that.
Animated GIF.
All right, there you guys go.
So, the Sagittarius drops out of slipstream rather abruptly at the edge of the system containing the Midas array. There was actually a little bit of turbulence as you all came out, which Master Chief, you're pretty sure there shouldn't have been. That should have been a smooth detransition. There are also space dogs.
Space dogs, red alert. Oh, wait, are they friendly space dogs? Are they going to come lick the ship?
I don't know if they're friendly, but they're very good boys.
They're very good boys. There you go. Open hailing frequencies, good boys. Yeah. Anyway, so back in character, I will kind of give... Well, that wasn't you, Lieutenant.
No, the slipstream drive is still reading nominal levels.
Did we hit something?
I hope we didn't run over a dog. Lieutenant Maroy. Lieutenant Maroy, give me a sensor sweep.
Okay.
Maroy's actually got a decent science skill. So let's have Lila, let's have you do a reason science check.
Reason science. Okay, and would this count as tactical systems?
Okay, so there are kind of different ways to use the sensors. You're accustomed to using them to scan for threats. They can also be used just to kind of scan the environment in a more scientific sense to see what are we looking at. So if you're looking for threats, then I would say your focus applies, but that's going to affect the readings that you get back. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if you'd like to apply it, then that will tell me you're doing a tactical scan versus a regular sensor sweep.
Well, then I'm going to lean on my values for vigilance is the price of peace and safety and say, yes, I am going to scan for threats.
Okay. So now are you using a point of determination to do that, or are you just kind of referring back to that as character background?
Both.
Okay.
You can do both.
You can. So what determination does is determination gives you an immediate critical success in addition to however many dice you roll. So straight off the bat, you're looking at 2 successes right off immediately. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you roll, any successes you get will be added to those 2.
Okay.
Now, since you're doing a tactical scan, the ship's also going to assist using sensors and security.
So is that 3?
So you'll be rolling 2. The ship will roll 1. Okay. And since you're using your focus, that is an additional 4 successes.
It's going to generate some momentum.
It's going
Or-
to generate a lot of momentum.
May I toss you an idea there, Catherine? One of my favorite things to do when I play a science officer that was totally not a spy. My favorite thing to do is I would create an advantage, and you can create an advantage by spending 2 points of momentum. And my favorite was detailed scan of the area. So since yours was tactical, like detailed tactical scan of the area, and anytime that comes up, it'll reduce the difficulty for us doing things that could help us. That's just my personal favorite.
I will do that. That is a great recommendation. I would love to do that, please.
Okay. So you'll have that advantage of a detailed scan of the system, basically. And I'm going to count up your successes. So I'm going to do a little bit of math here because you've got 2, 6, 7 successes. You've capped out your momentum. So your skin...
You get momentum, and you get momentum, and everyone gets momentum. Sorry.
So your tactical scan reveals, it manages to cut through the interference that the main deflector is encountering. And there are no large ships in the area. You are, however, detecting hundreds, possibly thousands of small objects that appear to be moving of their own accord, smaller than a shuttle. There are certain areas where your sensor readouts are kind of bouncing too, which probably indicates some sort of, you'd say some sort of anomaly if you had to guess. But without doing a science scan, you're not going to know more about those.
Gotcha. Captain, we're seeing a lot of debris out there. We're unable to, at this moment, determine what it is, but everything seems to be relatively small.
Is it debris, or are they moving? I'm asking out of character. Are they drones or moving objects that have propulsion?
Moving objects with propulsion.
Gotcha. So there you go. That's what I was thinking too, Catherine, at first. But
Okay, I will rewind and say that.
So it's not debris.
small moving objects.
Yeah.
Small moving objects.
So, Captain, let's have. So this is something that you as a player may not know, but your character might. And that's something that I want to emphasize also. Like, your characters will have knowledge of Starfleet, of technical stuff that you as players may not have. So if you ever want to ask, hey, does my character know something about this that maybe I don't? Or what is my blind spot here? Go ahead and ask, because I can help you fill in some of that information.
Okay.
So what we're going to go with here is I'm going to ask you to do, let's say, a reason security check. And I'm going to set the difficulty at 3.
Lieutenant Morroy or me?
You, Captain. And Chief, I'll let you assist on this one.
That's what I was thinking. I would like to narratively, I don't say or do anything. I just exchange glances with the captain, and we both I grimace, and she just looks at me probably with an empty face because she's a Vulcan, but still. So I'm going to do insight security, if that's okay.
Yep, that's perfectly okay.
And I'm doing reason and security?
You're doing reason security.
I'm going
Like,
to
Relying on that eidetic Vulcan memory.
Are we full up on
You are
momentum?
full up on momentum, yep.
Captain,
But you're assisting, so you can't buy an extra dice.
Captain,
but Captain could.
I encourage you to buy an extra dice with 1 point of momentum. We have a difficulty 3 task here. So I totally...
Can I also add my fascination with the unknown? If that makes sense.
That would be spending a determination, which I really wouldn't recommend here.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
But focuses might apply. Not in this particular circumstance, but that's something to keep in mind. Values determine how you behave as a character. Your focuses determine your areas of expertise.
Okay.
All right, I'm rolling mine. No help from me.
So I've got security and reason. I'm sorry. Can you just refresh my memory how I?
Yep. So you've got reason and security. You've got no for the focus used. Complication range is 1. Task roll is 2.
3.
And then you'll hit the Starfleet
3 because she spent the momentum to get the third.
3, sir.
Sorry, I'm just like.
Roll. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So the number 3, if you look over from task roll, and I'll click it for you so you can kind of see.
Okay.
And then the Starfleet icon next to task roll.
Okay, wait. I see the GM. Where's me? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
I'm on the left-hand side. No.
And it's on the character sheet on the right-hand side.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I click the task roll.
You click the Starfleet icon, kind of out to the side from task roll.
Got it.
More cats with
There we go.
3 successes.
Yes. Good, Captain.
Nailed it. So, Captain, it sounds vaguely like what you've read, like something you've read about in previous Starfleet reports at the classified level that may indicate a drone swarm. Drone swarm was used by, in the mid-23rd century by ships that belonged to Starfleet intelligence.
Oh. We should put our shields up.
Red alert! All hands to battle stations.
Are they scanning us? Are they moving towards us?
Based on the lieutenant's sensor sweep, it doesn't look like they're aware of the ship's presence. They do seem to be clustered near the Midas array.
We have cloaking.
You don't.
Okay. I have to ask, okay?
I mean, it's
that's entirely fair.
Now, this reminds me of a bunch of flies circling a corpse. I wonder what they're doing. If they haven't noticed us, their programming isn't set them to come after just everything.
So
Captain, shall I bring us closer?
Maybe just
put us in a wide orbit at maximum sensor range.
I do like the idea of continually moving, Captain.
I think we should continue to move, yes. Can we see or find what they are looking at if they aren't paying attention to us?
Again, I would
Bringing
say
us to
they're...
half impulse.
No, and it's not something you'll have to roll for.
Right.
You're getting some sensor interference at the moment, but it seems fairly localized. If you get too much closer, I'd say if you get within, let's say, medium range of the array, you'll have to start rolling to avoid obstacles. So,
Lieutenant Maroy, is there anything left at the station for me to ask the lieutenant to scan for life signs? Don?
Oh.
Is there anything left of it where I'd be like, oh, people could still be alive, or is the station just torn to shreds?
So you're doing an obtain information momentum spell,
yeah,
right?
so I was going to ask the lieutenant to make the check anyway, but if it's clearly in 50 million pieces and just by looking, I'm like, everyone's probably dead, I won't ask.
No, it's not. Okay, so 2 points. First, it's unmanned, or it's uncrewed.
Oh, okay,
so you
well,
don't have to
maybe.
worry about life signs. Second, it's it's intact as far as you can tell from long range.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I was thinking if there were survivors, that put us on a clock. If it's unmanned, then I am less concerned, at least about the clock.
Yeah, there would still be the problem of the array itself.
Yeah. Captain, I got an idea.
Shoot.
We have been graced by a space cat.
Did I say that right?
Say what?
Shoot.
Shoot, yeah. If these things got some sort of proximity sensor or something like that, if we get too close, they're going to come after us. But we don't know what they have. We could try sensors. Failing that, we might be able to send a probe right through the middle of them, see if they chase it. If they chase it, well, then we know what we're going for. Also, if they ignore it, it may be a particular size issue. In that case, we got a bunch of fancy shuttles in the back I'm sure we could go flying on into. That's my recommendation, Captain.
Let's probe it.
All right.
Okay. So we'll say that there's an ensign at the science station right now. We have a science officer. They won't be able to join us until next episode, but they will be played by Ty, who is also non-binary, they, them. And
You're
if you're here for
fans of this channel, you know Ty.
In the meantime, we have an ensign at the science station that says, launching probe. And at this point, I'm going to spend a point of threat.
Oh.
Fancy.
So you launch the probe out of the forward torpedo tube. You get a signal from it initially, and then after about 5 seconds, it abruptly stops.
Do we know what happened to it?
It was signaling until the moment it didn't.
Scan for debris.
Scanning, sir. The call comes again from the science station. Okay. The science officer, without even having a character sheet, did y'all a solid.
It's always good.
I am picking up numerous rifts between us and the station, Master Chief.
What kind of rifts?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like them.
I'm going to look to the... So, what is Mestral's history before they were in command? Were they a science officer? Or were they...
They were science officer and first officer.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Captain, this might be the opportunity for you to translate to me what the good ensign just said. I'm hoping the captain's got some good roles to figure out what's going on.
And
yeah.
As you're discussing this, the science officer says, I can cut through some of the interference. I've got something on screen. And on your view screens is what appears to be an almost two-dimensional tear in space. Kind of evanescent. Not the band, mind you, but like kind of glowing.
I wasn't going to say it.
I was gonna say,
Wake me up.
exactly. Like,
I mean, now
it's
is
a
a
good
good
song.
time to wake up. We've got a rift, so
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want a rift? Because that's how you get rifts.
Evanescence. That's how you get... You want 90s female-led rock bands? That's how you get spatial rifts, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that doesn't look very good.
It's a spatial rift and not a temporal rift.
Is it?
You could probably double check the. Actually, I'll give this one to you because the ensign rolled well enough. Pulling up their readouts on the science station, it reads as a spatial rift, but it also reads very life form intensive. Like it's again, it's like nothing you've ever seen either.
So the rift has a life form, or is a life form, Or is full of
or
life?
is leaking life forms, perhaps? It's not entirely clear.
Like blood. I mean, the little.
Fascinating.
I'm not a scientist. Maybe the little blood cells flowing out in the space.
On that note, would I be able to potentially identify what might be going on here? I don't know if that would necessarily.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. And narratively, we can say that you've got a bridge station. As a chief medical officer, you just might.
We can also say she's like McCoy, just shows up on the bridge because why not? It's just, I'm here.
Just to give the captain grief.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Gotta keep my eye on you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
do you really want to do that? Really? Like, really?
But you're also able to.
So when I say the blood comment, I'm going to turn to the doctor. Could it be blood? I don't know. This is not my area of expertise.
And Doc, let's have you make let's call it insight medicine.
Okay.
And I'm going to set your difficulty at 2.
Okay.
And as you're doing this, the science officer's kind of trying to zoom in, trying to do that zoom and enhance business on the main viewer. Yeah, exactly.
And would I be able to use my xenobiology focus for this?
Yes, you would.
Beautiful.
That's why you're on the bridge.
Yeah, you are in that bridge station.
Okie doke. And so I just click focus to use yes, correct?
Focus use, yes. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And I leave everything else as normal, or do I shift my task roll up to?
You would only shift your task roll up if you're using momentum to buy an additional die. So, okay. 2 successes. As the scanners are zooming in, Aaron, your familiarity with xenobiology lets you instantly recognize one of the life forms that you're seeing out there. Except until now, you've only seen microscopic versions of it. They're creatures that are colloquially called water bears, but are also known as tardigrades.
Interesting. Captain, it seems like there are larger versions of tardigrades out there. I've not come across anything like this before, but I don't think my eyes deceive me here.
And as she's saying that, Captain, you recognize it too. Again, calling on your earlier expertise, this is a life form that Starfleet has previously encountered, but the records of it have been kept classified at very high levels.
Well, are they in distress?
Doc, they don't appear to be.
It doesn't seem like it. Do they appear to be just sort of moving about? Or
most of them seem to be moving about. As you're doing kind of a visual pan over the array, you do see them kind of crowded over that too. And some of them appear to be like using these massive 6-inch dagger claws to kind of cleave into bits of the array. They seem to be looking for something.
interesting.
So those drones are scanning the tardigrades.
The drones appear to be the tardigrades. In other words, what your tactical sensors were initially registering as drones appear to, in fact, be these.
Oh,
Large and they're
So there's thousands of these, or at least 1,000 of these.
interesting.
and they're trying to get at something. Can we tell what they're trying to get at?
I'll give you. I'll let you do an obtain information momentum spend, which lets you ask follow-up questions based on the results of a roll.
Okay.
So it would just cost a momentum to do that.
All right, let's do that.
Okay. So, Captain, from what you have read in the files surrounding these creatures, they feed on a particular type of spore called prototype. I'm not going to get the name of it right. They feed on a particular type of spore that's normally only found on certain planets and inside what was called mycelial space.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Well,
this is not something that would be common knowledge. But serving as a science officer and as a captain, having access to classified information that the rest of the crew doesn't, this is information that you are familiar with.
okay. Why don't we help them get whatever they're trying to get out? Perhaps they're hungry. They don't seem to be attacking us, and they seem to have this intent to open up whatever that is and get it.
Captain, if I may, I do like the Master Chief's plan for sending out a probe just to see if they are hostile or not.
Well, the probe was eaten up by the spatial distortion, so I assume. Is there a way to map these spatial distortions so a probe could be sent through? The lieutenant is right, but I'd hate for us to risk too much. Just see how they respond. If they are trying to get at some yummy morsel at the center of the station, maybe we could provide something different to lure them away. The station still is important to Federation communications and Starfleet.
I don't know if we have what they're looking for.
What you got, Ren?
We have that detailed scan of the area, so
That's true. So calling on that, there is a high concentration of these particles collected on different parts of the Midas array itself. Uncertain exactly how they got there, unless the rifts somehow deposited them there. Otherwise, might have been someone depositing them there, but that would raise the question of who.
Captain, if I may make a suggestion that's come to me. Lieutenant Mulroy, can you hear them?
can I hear them? Would that be a thing?
They ask Counselor Troy to sense weird things all the time, so.
So you can try.
You know what? We can try.
Okay. So you
Worth a
kind
shot.
of
Communicating with them.
prepare yourself mentally, and let's have you do. I'm gonna make another roll. Let me see what might work here. Since you're kind of trying to hear them, I'll say insight and command. And they're kind of alien to you, but they're also not going to be making any attempt to resist. So I'm going to say it's difficulty. I'm going to say it's a difficulty 1 task.
I'm having trouble remembering how to do this again.
Okay, so you've got insight and command highlighted. That's good.
Mhm.
And then you're not using a focus here. Your task roll is set right, and the complication range is set right. So you just have to hit the Starfleet icon next to task roll, and it'll generate the pop-up in the chat window. 3 successes.
Woo!
So you kind of quiet your mind, and you know, at least you're familiar with the voices of the Master Chief, who's actually really quiet for a human. You're familiar enough with Lieutenant Havan, familiar with the captain's voice, and just kind of reaching and quieting your mind. You can just hear this cacophony of voices. Very simplistic voices, very instinctual, very primal. Just saying, food, 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 hungry, 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 food, 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 feed me, need food.
It's the hungry hippos.
Mm-hmm. Kibbles and bits and bits and bits. Exactly.
So just kind of come out of it and just be like, Captain, they only have one plan, one thing that drives them, and it's to eat.
So there are parts of the station. Have we determined why those particular parts of the station?
And I probably know what they're eating, what they're trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we should help them before they destroy something.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, can we produce the kibble?
Kibble? Oh, no.
No.
Miniature food product. The translator's like, can we produce the miniature food product?
So they seem to be attacking. They're attacking the station because they believe there is a certain food source there. They're attacking specific parts of the station. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So our question is, if we get our ship closer, is there a particular part of our ship that will appear as miniaturized food product?
No, because what they're going after is a type of fungal spore.
I see. So
Now
with that, I think we could potentially assume we could get closer.
We could get closer, but yes, let us get closer.
Okay.
Now, since I know that they're trying to get the spores, but that's classified information.
Gotcha.
And you as the captain would have to decide whether or not that you would share that with information with the crew.
Yeah. Okay.
So to get closer to the array, Ian, I'm going to have you make a difficulty 2 check. It's reduced to 2 from 3 because you've got that detailed scan of the area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be Daring Con. You are not my supervisor. It's going to be Daring Con. The difficulty is 2, and the ship will assist as well with Engines Con. Your evasive maneuvers focus will apply.
Gotcha. I forget what focus is doing.
They increase the range of your critical success rolls.
Oh, right.
So if you don't have a focus in something, you get a critical success on a 1. If you
Gotcha.
do have a focus, then it can go up to whatever your whatever your discipline is.
Okay.
Man, Ian, you're just crushing it tonight.
Yep.
It's like I
Three
was built to
successes.
do this.
Mm-hmm.
So you have one bonus momentum to carry over from that. But you're able to navigate through. And as you're passing through these, as you're passing in between these rifts, you can catch glimpses as you're passing by of a realm that almost looks like something out of Alice in Wonderland. Like a cerulean blue sky, bioluminescent plants, islands of land in a sea of space. And I've got something that I can share in Roll20 here for you all. Kind of a close-up, as it were. Just to kind of give you an idea of kind of the shimmering glimpses of that you can see as you're passing by these things.
Lieutenant Commander, does this look familiar to you at all?
Does it? Something I might have seen before?
I believe it's safe to say none of you have seen anything like this.
Very pretty.
No,
I'm
it's
Still
not-
keeping our
I don't think
distance,
we have.
Captain.
In my opinion, pretty is also dangerous. And in my experience.
After a few minutes of careful navigation, though, you reach transporter range of the Midas Array.
Is it safe to beam over? Is there atmosphere on the station? Even though it's typically unmanned, no doubt service crews have to come here.
I'm going to take a little bit of narrative license and say that there is a central maintenance area, kind of like an engineering deck on a starship.
I think as us as players, we don't care about canon, we care about what's fun. So yeah, there's totally a place we can beam over to and get into trouble. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh, how are they going to catch these hands?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. I want you to punch a water bear. There you go. Just
I will punch
Oh,
a
you
water
do
bear.
not want to punch the
yeah,
water
no,
bears.
yeah. But that being said,
If you've watched Discovery, do not
I've
punch the water bears.
Don't punch the water.
that being said,
They're
Captain,
pretty
we
large,
should-
actually.
perhaps send over an away team.
That would be a good idea. Lieutenant Moray, Lieutenant Commander Arnball, would you like to go?
Yes, Captain.
Rex, would you like to go?
I absolutely have no problem doing anything the captain needs me to do. If that means going into a dangerous situation with giant monsters, absolutely.
I'm sure that's better than paperwork.
Indeed.
I might like to go too. That would leave someone who would have to take the chair.
I look at the lieutenant. Unless we narratively, and I'm gonna straight up ask the GM, should we come up with the creative reason of why we should bring Ian so he's not left out of the game? Because
Yeah.
it's Star Trek. We can come up with a reason.
Transporting? Transporters?
If
We
you
could
don't
take the shuttle.
transport and you have to take a shuttle,
There we
that
go.
would be ideal.
Let's take the shuttle.
Cool.
There's too much interference with
Yeah,
That's cool. I just want. There's,
whatever
Just as a preventive
protocols.
measure, you take the shuttle in case in the event there might be interference.
Gotcha. There you go. That's actually, Captain, the lieutenant brings up a good idea. If we take the shuttle, it'll probably be a little safer. We can get closer.
Let's do that.
Well,
So who are we leaving the chair to?
random NPC, you have the con.
Great.
There's someone.
Commander
There's
Dash will come up from engineering and take the center stair.
Exactly. We have a
take the center
Scotty.
seat.
We have a Scotty. He's just a nice Tellarite. All right. I will.
So I say for that.
I'm wondering, just on the meta rules here, guys. We should definitely spend some crew support to bring over some, at least like 1 or 2 yellow jackets and or away team to just support us. So what that happens is we get as many crew support equal to the scale of the ship. What's the scale of the ship, Don?
The ship is scale 5.
So that means we have 5 times in a game we can call upon either like an advantage that counts as an NPC or create an NPC that actually has like stats. I don't think we need an NPC that has stats. I just want to create an advantage of away team that shows up with us. And they're the random extras that either do random things or die in our place.
There is one consideration with that, though.
Sounds good.
This maintenance chamber is not that large. You could probably get 4 people in there without it being crowded, but more than that, you're going to start tripping over each other.
Gotcha. Okay. Then without spending crew support, can we have a random guy to stay on the runabout? Like one backup guy to stay on the runabout, just in case.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, just like, and if we need him, then we'll spend the crew support.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So we'll get Ensign Ricky with us. And
Ricky Bobby.
and we have our standard away team equipment. Yeah, Ricky Bobby, yes, Ensign Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that evil on me.
It's my first mission. I'm so excited. I'm getting married today.
Oh, no.
All right, so we have, I assume we have our standard equipment, and we're each going to bring, I'm going to bring, as probably in addition to what I would stand to bring, I'm going to bring an engineering kit too, because as a Master Chief, I have, of course, done system maintenance from here on time to time, so I'm going to bring an engineering kit in addition to my standard comm badge, tricorder, and phaser.
Okay.
So just indicating that now.
All right, so let's call that a 1-point momentum spend then, shall we?
Sounds good, yeah.
Not that you all are hurting for momentum at the moment.
Yeah, no.
So before we get into the ground game, though, I do want to ask, what is our time slot for Sagittarius?
All right, on the meta level, in theory, we can go until the next show starts, which I think is on Friday. But we usually end up.
You heard it, folks. 24 hours.
Yeah, there you go. I have to work before then, but I would say normally we kind of cut out at 2 hours and 30 minutes. But if we've got a little bit more, we can go a little bit more. If you think this is the perfect time to stop, we can stop. So think 2 hours and 30 minutes is your goal. If you run out of stuff and it's 2:15, no big deal. For 2:45, because we're in the thick of it, go right on ahead.
Yeah, that would give us another 45 minutes to an hour. So I think we can do this. So,
Sounds good.
All right, we'll go ahead and press on.
All right, so we will get to the runabout.
All right, so you all get to the runabout. Kind of gather the team in there. It's a little bit crowded. Runabouts are usually 2 to 4 seaters, and I think you got 5, but
I think we have 6 with Rando.
yeah, 6. So lower dexing it up a little bit.
Yeah, he can be in the back.
Couple of folks sitting on laps.
I was like, he can sit on your lap.
That's fine. Come here, Ensign. Let the Master Chief teach you something. Now, back in my day.
Excuse me, Rex. That is probably inappropriate behavior. We'll have to check. So.
Yeah, no, I won't actually have the ensign sit on my lap.
Probably
not. Yeah, no.
Seatbelt.
Yeah.
Please tell me everyone has a safety harness on. We could run into a lot of interference out there.
Yeah,
That's how we're doing it.
I'm standing and holding whatever the space equivalent of the oh shit bar is.
Yep.
Okay, this
Yep.
is exactly how we're doing it. All right. All right.
There's not enough seats.
trusting the prophets on this one.
Oh, no. See, hold on. Everyone else is an officer but me. Everyone else has a seat. I'm near the hatch in case I gotta jump out of this thing because it is my goal to jump off of some vehicle onto another. So we'll see. I'm ready. I'm
Your
prepped
shirt
for it.
first.
Whether he gets to do it every
Rip your shirt
episode, we haven't
first.
determined.
Yeah.
Rip
Exactly,
your
rip my
you got
shirt.
You got the extra vehicular focus.
So, Ian, I'm going to have you navigate us through. You are. There are anomalies to look out for.
All right.
That being said, you're in a small craft. You're going to have an easier time navigating. So I'm going to adjust the difficulty accordingly. We're going to call this difficulty 1. But I'm going to spend 2 additional threats. 1 to raise the complication range, and 1 to take away the assist from the shuttle.
Okay. And then I have a small craft focus.
Yes.
So. All right. I'm going to hit the button.
Big money, no whammy, no whammy.
Yeah, I'm big money.
Ooh.
Well, how'd we do?
Ooh.
Did I?
3 successes. Nicely done. You all are on fire tonight, figuratively,
Ow.
not literally.
Yeah.
Literally would be bad. You all are doing good.
There's
Just don't have-
45 to an hour to change that. Like, come on.
Just don't let me do medicine because they dead if I do.
Next up, everyone's unconscious but you. So without any difficulty, you reach the small docking port for the Midas array. You bring the shuttle into dock. Kind of, if you're familiar with the docking ports from the motion picture, it's kind of like that setup. So landing clamps engaged, and that was a bottle cap that just fell off my desk. Landing clamps are engaged, and you all are safe to disembark.
That was an excellent navigation, Lieutenant.
When the prophets will, I do.
Yes, I hope you have a better song when we leave.
So before we open, I'm going to scan. Like before we open the door, I'm going to scan on the other side of it to see if just to see what's there. I have been in way too many ambushes to trust a door I do not know what's on the other side of.
Oh, y'all are acting like this is Critical Role or something with the doors.
Yeah. I mean, I not sound like a terrible Twitch streamer, but I've never seen Critical Role, so.
You know what? I have watched very little of it, but the LGBTQ rep in it is really good from what I understand.
So I'm going to scan to see what's on the other side here.
Okay, so that's going to be, let's call that reason security.
Oh, that's only slightly worse. That's great. I'm not the thinker, guys. I didn't go to the academy here.
Can I help? Since that's
Yes,
a good
you can
role for
assist.
me.
You can definitely assist also with reason security.
All right, there we go. Let's see what I get. I got nothing.
Okay. Unfortunately, the assist does not help if the character doing the task has to get at least 1 success for an assist to count.
Sounds good. So I don't know what's on the
Oh.
other side. I'm all right with it.
No successes. With the number of anomalies in the area, the tricorders are having a very difficult time detecting anything outside of visual range.
So I would like to have my phaser out,
No, that's what I do
And
too. I
set
put
to
away my
stun.
tricorder.
and Master Chief and I are gonna be up front. Just
I look depressingly at the Type 2 phaser I have.
That's all either one of you has. So,
Would you like a weapons upgrade?
Always, Captain, but we're a little late right now. This will probably get the job done.
I'm sure it will.
All right, so I'm gonna look to Lieutenant Roy, hit the button, and I'm sure the thing's gonna lower down. I'm gonna go left, and I assume she's gonna go
Yeah.
right.
okay. I'm going to spend an additional 2 threat here.
Awesome.
And
Yes.
How many Romulans is that bot?
no Romulans. However,
No
comma.
Romulans,
Really angry bears.
Well, that being said, if we have to make a normal, like, visual check, let me know.
Not visual
Eyes,
checks,
what?
but what you all notice. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. What you all notice is as you open the door, you see something just kind of squirt out of a busted window panel as these doors open, and the air starts blowing rather viciously towards this breached window in the engineering chamber, as whatever it was just kind of squirts out of this window.
All right, I'm going to do 2 things here. I am going to, I assume we have flashlights too. I'll assume we got those. I feel like that's pretty standard.
I would call those standard.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, heck, they have them on. Speaking of wanting the phaser rifle, it has a flashlight. So yeah, I'm going to, since we're venting atmosphere, I'm going to kind of look over and tell the Dr. Lieutenant, find out what that was, and I'm going to move quickly to seal the breach, because I'm actually good at repairs.
And you've got the engineering kit.
There you go.
Okay, so Lieutenant, I'm going to have you make an insight security check. And I'm setting the difficulty at this to 2.
That's the complication range.
Normal complication range, so complication range of 1.
Difficulty
Okay.
2 means you need 2 successes to
Correct.
succeed.
So that is, which one did you say? I'm sorry, insight and security?
Insight and security. Mm-hmm.
I heard insight and insecurity. I'm like, okay, we're not that part of the game yet.
Okay, 2
No,
successes.
confidence. The captain commanded confidence.
Yes, exactly.
Betazoid teams, or the planet Betazoid teams with aquatic life, Lieutenant. And if you didn't know any better, you would say that was an octopus, a Betazoid octopus that just squirted out that little window breach.
Okay. How
I mean, it clearly wasn't Betazoid because Betazoid octopi live in the water.
Lieutenant Commander, are you aware of any oh my goodness, I'm having such blanks today.
Cephalopods?
Thank you.
You're a security officer, not a biologist.
You're Betazoid, and you were broadcasting it so loud it was no problem to
Just
pick
like,
up on.
Yeah.
The word. A cephalopod that exists outside of water. Would that be an insight science?
Sure. Or an insight, insight science or insight medicine.
Okay.
Pick your pick.
I will take insight medicine for sure. And then can I also use the xenobiology?
Yes.
That being
Definitely
said,
apply.
also go over there and keep visual contact on it before the thing scurries off into a freaking corridor. Haven't you seen Aliens?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or some vent?
It's in space. That window overlooked the array.
Exactly.
Just sucked
Yeah,
out,
get
sucked
that
out.
thing.
Okay, so one
It's like a
success.
space octopus.
Unsubscribe.
Your unsubscribe button is the light disrupt to higher setting on your phaser. That is how you unsubscribe to that problem.
Let's see. I'm gonna super unsubscribe, so I'm gonna put that to disintegrate.
Don't do that, because if you miss, you'll damage the hull.
Doctor,
Have no faith in me.
Are you gonna try to kill it?
Okay, I gotta stop track. My bad.
that's okay. Doctor, you're not familiar with a species of cephalopod that can survive outside an atmosphere. Maybe the closest thing to that would be a gormagander, which is an endangered species of space whale, to put it colloquially. There are cosmozoans who can survive in outside of atmospheres, and like you all have seen the tardigrades, which are clearly having no problem living outside of an atmosphere here.
Lieutenant, I'm not exactly familiar with any cephalopods that could survive outside of this atmosphere, but it is already odd that we're seeing tardigrades out here, sans atmosphere, so I feel like the rules don't exactly apply here.
Can I scan for life just to have like an idea of if any other like creepy crawlies are in the
Absolutely.
area?
Yeah, and it sounds like your scan is kind of tactical, has kind of a tactical focus to it.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go with reason security.
Okay.
And I'm going to set the difficulty here at 1, because you've got the tricorder to kind of assist.
Mm-hmm.
2 successes. Okay.
Woo.
So as far as you can tell, there was only that one life form of that specific type in this little engineering compartment.
Mm-hmm.
Don't lose track of it.
I don't have a visual. I'm clearly fucking around with my tricorder.
Given the tricorder readings, you estimate it's about 50 meters out and able to move somehow in space.
And so it was just in here. It squeezed out through that breach.
It squeezed in through the breach, which I am going to be turning my back towards the space octopus to fix that breach.
No, it squeezed out.
Oh, it squeezed out? Oh, so it went out into space.
So, yes, it was
I thought it went in.
In this,
and now
it was
it's
in
like
this room when you
cuttlefish-ing
opened the
away.
door.
Okay,
Exactly.
that changes. I thought it squeezed in, and I'm like, why are we just scanning this thing? What is this? That totally changes my tactical appraisal of this situation. I'm like, you guys are letting some octopus thing crawl around, and you're talking like, oh, I wonder what it could be. As I'm turning my back to it, I'm gonna come back.
Adam's the
I've played
only one who's
Prey.
watched
I know
the
what I'm
hentai to
doing.
know how this really ends.
That being said, so that was exiting. We, excluding the captain, don't know what the tardigrades eat, correct?
Outside of the captain, correct.
Okay. Could it be, I mean, I probably would not know this considering I didn't really gather much about that, but for the rest of you, do you think that perhaps what the tardigrades were looking for was this?
I'm shaking my head no. What do tardigrades eat when they're little tiny things?
Do we know that? Or could I know that?
You would, yes.
Okay.
You would know. I think they basically eat algae, right?
I believe so.
Tidorf with the wiki.
Thank you, Tidorf. Hero of the day.
I wonder if they're. Oh gosh, this is so strange. This whole situation is just completely against everything that I have learned. Perhaps there could be some residual algae on something that appears to be like a sea creature that the tardigrades are searching for in this, octopus-looking.
Do I fix the hull breach while they're all talking, hopefully not running out of air?
Yeah, the air supply is starting to dwindle a little bit.
Oh,
so
I was on that the second I saw a hole.
Okay, I got you. So this is kind of
yeah, no, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's have you. Let's have this as a control engineering check.
I'm gonna. Here's what I'm gonna say, because I'm hoping. My control's the same as my daring, but I'm gonna say it's daring because what I think I'm gonna do in this situation that we're rapidly decompressing, I'm gonna take my phaser, cut off a tiny piece of like the hull, and put it over the hull, and then weld it. So I'm just making it work for right now. So
Then let's use daring for that.
Yeah, it's the same roll for me.
But because of the way that you're
cool.
MacGyvering it, I'm going to spend a threat to increase your complication range to 2.
Gotcha. Well,
And it's going to be a difficulty 2 task.
I'm going to spend a point of momentum to get a third dice.
Yep.
This isn't exactly system maintenance. Do I get a bonus for my engineering kit? Do I? You know what? I'm barely using my engineering kit. What am I saying?
You're not really using the engineering kit.
I'm not really.
You said you were using the phaser.
Otherwise, I would have factored that in.
Nah, it's okay. I think it's just.
I will let your small arms focus apply.
There we go. I'll take that. It's not going to be a big help. All right. Do I want to do anything else?
You want to Sparta kick it?
No, I'm not going to Sparta kick it. Oh, I'm totally in the wrong spot here.
Was it made in Russia?
This together like this, and it always works.
I only have 1 success.
Okay.
Let's see here. You said I needed 2?
Yes.
Is there a way to re-roll? I forget. Do I have to spend the determination
You
for
can
that?
spend determination to re-roll all of your dice.
Ooh.
You know what? Is it possible to just succeed at a cost?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not going to hold or whatever it is that you decide.
Right.
Yeah.
It's staunched the flow of air, but not stopped it.
Gotcha.
Your fast leak is now a slow leak. You've got about 10 minutes before you start risking hypoxia.
Gotcha. I'm going to... All right, I have a plan for that if we start running out of time. So after I'm done, that'll get her done for just a few minutes. After that, we're going to have to work on a longer-term plan. So what is this about a space squid?
Yes, space squid, maybe algae on space squid, maybe tardigrades looking for algae on space squid. That is my working theory.
They're looking for mushrooms.
All right, so we're looking for mushrooms.
Fungus. That doesn't leave this here. You don't know how you found that out.
You mean this death trap of trust?
Yes, death trap of Tuss. I was thinking comrade in arms. Understood, Captain. Wouldn't be the first time I know something I'm not supposed to. All right, so we're looking for mushrooms that are not officially here. That's what they're after.
Yes. They're a particular type of fungus that they eat.
And out of character, it makes like no sense that they would be here, right? Any form of fungus, really? Or is space...
No, but it also doesn't make sense that the rifts would be here.
That's fair. And the tardigrades were going for specific areas of the array, correct? Like they weren't just all over the whole thing, they were on...
Correct.
Okay.
They seem to be focusing on specific areas. Ian, what you got?
No, I was just going to say that, it's Captain, if I can speak freely, it's a little unusual that a species that feeds on fungus is, for lack of a better word, chewing on our sensor array? Is there something we need to know?
Cap, was this in the initial briefing to you that these things were here, or did we only discover this or did you only discover this once we were here? That being said, we also have about 8 minutes before everyone starts to feel lightheaded, so we should cut the chatter to what we need to know. Are we taking the spores, moving them? What's the plan?
So no, I just got that there was no communication. I think we see why, because they're looking for fungus.
So what are we going to do with the fungus? If it's something, is it something we intend to take back home, or do we need to disperse it from this array so that the array can continue to function?
I think it might be in our best interest if we try to get a tardigrade and some fungus, enough to feed it, and send it back to Starfleet somewhere.
So our goal is to capture the tardigrade with the fungus and bring it back to Starfleet. The tardigrades.
I think we just need one tardigrade.
Well, the rest will stay behind here and continue to chew on the station unless we remove all of the mushrooms. And once we do that, they may attempt to follow the ship. That being said, our ship is goddamn fast, and that might be difficult, but I don't know anything about these creatures.
Do we have a lab that we could grow some mushrooms really fast?
You have modular laboratories on board the Sagittarius.
Perhaps I could take a sample and then attempt to recreate more of it, and then maybe we could try and disperse things away from the array so that it distracts them and gets them off of the array.
Put it in another probe and head it off or ship it out towards the rift.
Like throwing a toy to get a dog.
Go get it.
Master Chief Rex to Sagittarius.
Commander Dash here, go ahead.
Dash, how long until these tardigrades cause critical damage to this structure and it's no longer there? Give me an estimate.
Well, Chief, right now I'd say our structural integrity's sitting right around 47%. Another 2 or 3 hours, we're going to have a Starfleet Corps of Engineers come out here to put this thing back together.
Thank you. Rex out. Here's what I say the plan is. We don't have time. We can get the modular laboratory started up so that we can figure out more of this stuff, but the longer we keep it here, the more the tardigrades destroy this facility, and then we'll fail in our initial mission. Our secondary mission seems to be dealing with these tardigrades. If we can gather everything they're trying to eat and either disperse it elsewhere or take it with us, which will then make our ship a target, then we need to do that. We need to do one of those two things. We need to do it quick before we run out of air.
All right.
Isolate the spores in a transporter frequency. Either just, I see no reason why you couldn't just beam it out directly into space.
All right.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Thoughts,
We-
Captain?
Yes. We should definitely preserve the array. But I think it would also be in our best interest to take some samples.
I said let's get it all if we can. Oh, you mean the sample of the tardigrade, or do you mean the mushrooms?
Both.
Both? Both.
I mean, it stands to reason if we take a tardigrade back with us, we have to feed it.
How large are the tardigrades?
About the size of a brown bear.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Okay.
wrong side. Master Chief, it's the Sagittarius. No, Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the Master Chief again. Take one of the modular laboratories, have it converted into an area that can be used to keep organic materials such as fungi and or plants, and have the other set up so that it can contain a rather large beastie. You should be able to get the specs of the beastie by looking out the goddamn window. Rex out. All right, well, we got about 5 minutes to wrangle ourselves up a bear and get some mushrooms. So I say we get to it.
Just another Friday night on the Sagittarius, everybody.
I will prep the shuttle, Master Chief.
Yes, I think it would be wise if we continued our mission while still breathing.
Yes. All right, let's go get a bear.
Let's
Should we
you know
split
what?
up?
Once we have the mushroom, the bear is going to come to us.
All right, let's get a mushroom then.
All right, so we're gonna.
I can hear the space bears. Run!
Yeah, well, that's the space cat over here. All right, so we're gonna go find ourselves the mushrooms, and then we're gonna turn that into
Trap.
the trap.
Okay.
The mushrooms are on the exterior, yeah?
They seem to be kind of dispersed. They're mostly on the exterior, but there are parts of the array that the bears are, or that the tardigrades are trying to dig through. The bears, the bears.
The bears.
That they're trying to dig through, which might indicate that there are spores like inside parts of the array.
Do we have time to break open what the tardigrades are trying to get some samples?
If we don't have time to break it open, we could probably leave one of our tricorders behind to create a stronger single and just beam it onto the runabout.
I think what Lieutenant Havon said about being able to isolate the spores is something that your crew would definitely be up for.
All right.
You could use the ship sensors to isolate the spores and transport those into your modular laboratory.
I
Okay.
agree with Lieutenant Havon. I think that would be the safest option, certainly.
Let's do that. Let's take a safer option.
All right, so it sounds like we're getting back into the shuttle.
Yeah, and
right.
I'll say, and we can say for the sake of the narrative that you all have gotten back into the shuttle.
Before we go, though, I'm going to grab something from the main computer, because this thing was here when all this began. So I want the data from the array, like the last passive sensor logs of it, in case something's going to collide with it, because I want to know what caused that giant hole outside. So I'm just going to grab that. I'm not analyzing it yet. I'm just, we're going to take this, and I'm going to get back into the thing.
Okay.
Get into the shuttle.
So let's have you do a control security check. Difficulty is, I'm going to put it at 1.
Gotcha. All right. There we go. Control security. All right. Something. And this way, I think my ship maintenance would apply, because I would know where this is. I feel like.
I think so too. Yeah. Whether you're physically grabbing it or downloading it. 3 successes. Nice.
Yeah, 3. I think just my character is a hands-on kind of person. I'm gonna go get it. Okay. I feel like that's my character. I'm just gonna go.
And we'll just say,
you're out of the wall.
With your expertise and your 40 years or so of experience, Master Chief, you know exactly. You're like that engineer that gets paid $300 to know exactly where that isolinear chip is.
Yeah. So
I grab the chip and you go.
I pull up the port, and it's like this big, the one thing, and then I just put the others back because I'm efficient like that. All right, let's go.
Okay. How much momentum do we got? 6?
You are at 6 momentum.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, Lieutenant Havon to Sagittarius.
Sagittarius here, go ahead.
I'm going to feed you the telemetry from the shuttle. We've got a little bit closer sensor readings here. Hopefully that can help you isolate the fungus.
Gotcha. We'll start triangulating.
And
Let's give the word.
We'll do that as an advantage.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I'm doing. I start feeding them telemetry with as much information from the shuttle's sensors as I can.
Okay. So you've got that. You've got the task of getting back to the ship from the array, which is going to be difficulty 2. As before, I'm going to spend 2 threat. So you're going to have a complication range of 2.
I'm going to assist by backseat driving, telling him which way to go and all that. So.
Okay.
That's a complication, Adam.
So yeah. So I'm a bit, I'm going to sit there next to him, and I'm going to co-pilot is essentially what I'm going to do. But with my words.
Okay.
Been all good.
So we have 1 success and 1 complication.
And let me roll here. There we go.
Two successes in the complication. Okay. So the good news is you got the 2 successes. You're gonna succeed at getting back to the ship. I will decide shortly what I'm going to do with that complication.
All players look away from the Discord or the Twitch chat.
I see that our new fan here has got a lot of questions. It's always great.
Yeah, no, I love it. And yeah, so you start sending telemetry as you are traveling back from the shuttle, though. Lieutenant, you're noticing that. Actually, I'll say you get a communique from the Sagittarius. Shuttle, Lieutenant, come in.
Lieutenant.
Yeah, the telemetry that we're getting, the telemetry's getting corrupted, Lieutenant. We're not going to be able to use this, I'm afraid. Your signal's getting bounced off of about 2 or 3 anomalies as you're coming in.
That was worth a try.
That it was.
Could we just scrape it off the hull with our tractor beam?
Won't arrive until Tuesday. No, I'm kidding.
Our tractor beam, not yours, ours, because we're
I
closer.
think some of it might be inside the hull, though.
We can't do everything.
I mean, you can still try to beam it out with the transporters, but what I did with the complication was nullify the advantage that Ian created.
Yeah.
Why don't we just beam it onto this thing? We have transporters on a runabout. Let's beam it here, and then we just got to get out like a bat out of hell when they decide we look like a nice little guppy.
Let's do that.
Knack.
Okay.
Can we? Yeah, let's do that. Don't touch the mushrooms. Fungus.
That sounds like a very, 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 very critical piece there. Computer, I'm going to tell the computer erect a force field around a meter around the transporter
pad. Yeah. So, who's got? Oh, let's see. Who's got the best engineering among you all? You think? Oh, what you got?
I've got a focus in transporters and replicators.
Perfect. I think you'd be the point person for this then.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be control engineering.
Who's got decent engineering after that? Because I want to assist, but I might not be the best.
I've got a 3 in engineering, but
And there, you do it. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
You fly her into at a better angle. That's what you can do.
Yep.
A what?
So you can.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, actually, did you spend your
Yep.
point of determination already? You did earlier. That's right. Okay.
I will give you success at a cost.
Okay.
Okay.
Take that.
So the success at a cost is you all managed to beam in the spores. You managed to get a transporter's lock, beam them in. You've probably got roughly 3 kilograms of pure extraplanar mushroom spores.
Pure
contained in that
uncut
shuttlecraft.
Colombian. Gotcha.
And now
So-
we are high.
Yeah. Well,
But now they see us, don't they?
The complication is you hear this massive thwoof, and there's this brown bear-sized tardigrade in the runabout.
oh, it's in the runabout. Oh, did we beam it in too? Gotcha.
No, you did not beam it in. It teleported itself into the runabout. And it is trying to get, like it is butting its head against this containment field.
Computer erect containment field between the around the bridge as well.
So,
All right.
okay. Basically another containment field between all of you and the tardigrade.
All right, so I'm going to quickly look to the lieutenant, like, get us the hell out of here. And then I'm going to pull up a panel because I have a wild and crazy idea, because I always do.
All right. Yeah.
Oh,
pull in
God, I
house
think I
back
know what
towards
you're
the
doing.
shuttle bay.
I know what you're doing.
What are you doing?
I'm going to spend 2 threat. Warning, containment field failure imminent.
Quick, someone spend some momentum.
Oh, I got an idea, but I'm gonna be crazy about it. I'm gonna be crazy.
All right, what's your crazy idea?
So what I'm thinking is I'm pulling up a panel. That's what I knew. I'm like, this thing's gonna crush the containment field. So I am going to draw power from some non-essential system right now, and probably from part of our micro warp field, or I'm just going to take power from anywhere that doesn't stop us our quick maneuvering. So, and I'm just gonna, but it's quick and dirty. Like, it is not beep, beep, beep. It's not the normal Star Trek stuff. I'm grabbing cords and, in the
Star Trek Nemesis style. Yeah.
That is definitely not what I thought you were gonna do.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were just putting up a barrier so that you could open up the door and suck it out.
If it can teleport, it'll be right back in here. So we just got to keep the containment field up until we get it in the ship, or get out of here. I don't know, because now that it can teleport, we got a problem. But I'm gonna let you eggheads think about that while I'm just keeping the power on.
All right, so let's have this as a daring engineering check.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to set the difficulty at 3, knowing that you have not spent your determination.
I'm spending my determination. One of my values is sometimes you have to roll up your sleeves. And I'm just getting in there.
I think that's perfect.
And rooting around. I'm going to take, just because this is very important, I'm going to take 3 points of momentum to up me to 4 dice.
Yep.
Actually, hold on. No, wait. If I'm spending I'm going to just 1 point. Never mind. Because I get the auto 1 from the determination. And I'm going to go ahead and roll this here. And
so that gives you 3 dice.
Yeah, boom, boom. There we go. So I got 2 successes. So that gives me 4. Yeah.
And I said the difficulty was 3. Or if I didn't say it, I was thinking it real loud.
There you go.
So you've got just enough time to get back to the ship with these spores and this tardigrade, who is very interested in the spores to the exclusion of everything else.
Gotcha. All right. I will. Well, while these guys are doing that, that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping the power up. I feel like that's what Master Chief's doing right now. Is I'm keeping the lights on.
And he's even got the sleeves rolled up. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah. Just grabbing the cords.
Is that lab ready?
Yes.
Ready as we're gonna get it.
Oh.
I've got 1 greenhouse and 1 zoo ready for you.
Excellent. Let's beam them on there.
Okay. So this is going to be, I'm going to call this difficulty 3.
Leave. I believe.
So, who's got this?
All right.
I will
Talking
try
about beaming
to assist.
stuff? If it's beaming stuff, it should totally be Moroi.
Yeah.
Ron Brave says he'll do it.
Okay.
One of the chat people says they'll do it.
And Havan, are you assisting as well?
I can assist, yeah.
Okay.
Can I use momentum for this?
So you can spend 3 momentum to buy 2 extra dice.
You guys cool with that? We have some, so yes, please.
Yeah, we're kind of toward the point where we're kind of wrapping up. So
Okay.
that gives you 4 dice to roll instead of 2. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And the complication is still 1?
Still 1. Mm-hmm.
Your focus apply. Oh, don't.
Well, I can check the numbers on that. But yeah, her focus applies. So
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4
She
successes.
rolled 4, so there you go.
Nicely done, Lieutenant Moroi. So there's the transporter sounds as both fungus and tardigrade are beamed off the shuttle in very quick succession. Lieutenant Havan, you are clear of distractions and managed to bring the shuttlecraft safely aboard. Lieutenant I would like to try and do here is kind of have a wrapping up scene, if that makes sense. So we'll skip forward a little bit in time, and we'll go back to Admiral Quinn's office.
I'm gonna pull down the flap on the uniform. I feel like my character's like the one that.
I feel like that's what it's there for, right?
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Yeah. So, Captain, who would you like to have with you for this scene?
Rex and Lieutenant Havan.
Who?
Havan.
Okay.
All the red shirts.
All the red shirts. Okay.
Yes.
We're left out. That's okay.
You're not.
We can go get our drink.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I need a Zen moment that definitely elevated my heart rate.
Right.
Time for self-care.
I think it would be healthy to do some self-care.
So, Admiral Quinn puts down the data pad that you handed him with the mission report and says, "Tardigrades. This is very unusual, Captain." And you've actually got one of the tardigrades in one of your mission pods.
It was like wrangling up a wild horse, but we got it, Admiral.
That would be an interesting analogy.
It's the best I could think of. I say kind of like, everyone can hear, but I kind of just say it to the captain like, it was the best I could think of.
Captain, based on this report, we know what happened to the array, but we don't really have a grasp on why. And it sounds like there's at least one loose end that needs to be wrapped up. I'm giving Sagittarius a long-range assignment, a long-term assignment. Find out what happened at the Midas array. Trace the event back to its source. And once you have more information, report back to Starfleet Command.
All right. Can I have a more complete dossier of what we're doing this time?
To be frank, Captain, we didn't know what was going on out there, and for that you have my apologies, but I'll make sure that you and your crew have access to Starfleet records regarding the tardigrades and the other anomalies that you encountered out there.
It seems odd that I would know what the tardigrades are. No one had any suspicion that that's what was happening. I mean, they were consuming something that was clearly part of the array. We didn't know that the mycelium or the fungus was there.
Lieutenant Chief, if you'll excuse us.
Yes, Admiral. So I'm going to stand up, and I will go to the door, let it open, and wait for the lieutenant to go out first. Because I'm not on the ship, so.
No, absolutely.
And after they've left, Admiral makes eye contact with you and says, "Captain, we have records that mycelial technology has been used as a weapon. We don't think that's what happened here. Frankly, when I say I'm at a loss, I'm at a loss. That's why I want the Sagittarius to investigate. If another race has developed mycelial weapon technology or even mycelial transportation technology that can create rifts in space, we need to find out who's behind it."
What if it's just the tardigrades doing that?
Based on our records of the tardigrades, the mycelial jumps that they make are extremely localized. So we don't think it was them, and the records that we have don't indicate any level of sentience that would be necessary to do that.
Well, they're sentient enough that Lieutenant Moroi could pick up what they were saying. They were expressing a desire to eat. Desire is the origin of life, so perhaps they're evolving. Perhaps something is controlling them.
I can't rule out either possibility. I'll leave that investigation to you and your crew.
All right.
Dismissed. And Captain, good luck.
There's no such thing as luck. But thank you.
Don't give me that sarcastic Vulcan salute. No, it's out of character, sorry.
You want to fight?
So yeah, do you all want to have like a little decompression scene, figuratively speaking, in Club 47? We could do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think taking a few minutes for all of us to do that is not a bad idea.
Yeah, so you all kind of go in looking for a little bit of food and libation. The Sagittarius is visible outside space dock in orbit around Earth.
Well, Doctor, that's one strange-looking creature. You sure you can be able to figure out what makes it tick? Since I haven't, spoken to the doctor, the entire game, so I figure...
I certainly hope so. I don't know what I'm more interested in, the tardigrades or the spores. It's definitely worth looking into.
That is true. I never really was up for... Even though I grew up on a farm, I'll be honest, I don't know a damn thing about growing anything, so... I guess I'll have to leave that in your more capable hands. Lieutenant Maroy, hand yourself well. I'll be sure to put that in my report as well.
Thank you, Master Chief.
So, and you, Lieutenant, you fly damn good. Like to see you on the back of a horse. You ever been riding?
Well, I did grow up on a farm.
That's not always a yes.
Well, we don't really have horses per se on Bajor, but if the analogy stands.
All right, we'll have to go riding sometime. Or maybe we can just use a holodeck. And when the captain approaches, I will stand. Captain?
Please. Did you bring your whiskey?
No, I did not, because then I would have to have somebody else sign to take it off the ship to bring it over here, which of course the Admiral would agree to, and then I would have to then submit another request to Lieutenant Maroy in which you would have to approve, and it's just so much easier to just drink it at my place.
Well, then I guess it's a good thing I brought some of mine. Dash busts out this bottle of the same concoction that he had when he met you, Lieutenant Havan. And it smells like hooch.
Something sounds like, this smells to me like it's good two things. Killing brain cells and degreasing engines.
And these days the engines don't need degreasing.
So I guess it's killing brain cells.
Only the weak ones, Chief.
Well, that's why it never seems to bother me, apparently.
What exactly is that?
He kind of looks down at it for a second. It's green.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Death incarnate.
Going to pretend that I'm
have
not
fun.
going to watch you drink this.
Captain, I do remember a time back when I had a lot less gray hairs. You didn't ask too much about what was in the drink. You just drank it.
I know, I never got drunk, and it was very disappointing.
Now, all I heard is that as a challenge to Mr. Dash here, is that, and perhaps we can get over with the good, that sounds like a good secondary project. Perhaps the good commander here, you can study up on Vulcan biology and find out just how we can get that of the captain. Of course, probably can't do that on your ship. It would be unbecoming, but when we're done, I don't know about you, it sounds like one hell of a celebration.
I have a case of Romulan whiskey on this ship.
Now that will knock my ass out. And that is not how I ended up in a Cardassian prison, but damn close.
And on that note, viewers, we pan out and our camera departs Earth space dock and we call it a night. We will see you again in 2 weeks when we will have our final cast member aboard. I had a lot of fun tonight. I was not expecting Cryptic Studios to rate us. That was phenomenal.
That was particularly awesome, yes.
Yeah.
But
This
before
was a great first session with all of you guys. I had a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
You were excellent.
oh,
Yeah,
thank
this
you.
was awesome.
So, yeah, look for us again in 2 weeks. 9 o'clock-ish Eastern time.
Yeah. Here at TTRP Theater, we tend to try to stick just so all of our announcements with Central Time. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you enjoyed watching us, please go ahead. If you're watching this live, go ahead, follow. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Costs you nothing. If you subscribe to the Twitch channel, we absolutely love that. And there's 3 other ways you can support the channel. You can join our Discord just to come chat with us and all that business. I've dropped that in the chat. Another way you can support us is by going to Patreon and patroning TTRP Theater itself. Or another way you can support us directly, and by thus I mean the people that I tend to work with, you can look up Vampire Interpreter on Patreon because some of you have noticed our costumes. This was not something we all had lying around. We went out and purchased it with our own money. TTRP Theater was kind enough to reimburse us some of it, but it adds up. So if you end up patroning us or being a patron of my Patreon / everybody else's, I do my best to try to reimburse our players for little incidentals, and then sometimes, just for taking time out of their day to help us play a game and so that you can watch. That's why we go the little bit extra mile. It took a while to create all this stuff around you, because while it looks like it blends together, it's probably about 50 different elements that I set up and put and all that in there. And so that's just one way you can support us.
And check out the player's makeup too, like the Bajoran nose makeup.
Yes,
that is
indeed.
all makeup. That is not a prosthetic.
Yeah,
and
we did.
Ian just nailed it.
Great job, Ian.
Yeah, we like to be extra here. I think one of our new fans said, and even Cryptic Studios loved the layout, love how we were looking. Here at TTRP Theater, we tell stories using RPGs as a medium, and specifically the stuff that I'm directly involved with, we tend to always go that one step extra just to make it a little bit more fun for you guys to watch. So I hope you had a great time here tonight. I can't wait to see you guys again in 2 weeks. If you like the other stuff here on the channel, check it out. We have, tomorrow we'll have Vengeance in Vaulderie, the vampire show that I run. Friday we have Manhattan. Sunday, every other Sunday, we have A Place of Wrath and Tears. On Saturdays, we have SLA Industries. We have Happy Faces on Sundays. Every now and again, I do a talk show. We've got a lot of fun stuff here that you guys can be a part of. If you're a regular patron of our channel, people with us will talk to, T-Dorf, everyone knows T-Dorf, Apacho, Rum Brave. There's a couple of people here that we see here every week, and we love chatting with you guys. So that being said, thank you for the subscription.
Thank you so much.
Apula Thelgar. I'm gonna butcher that, but that's okay. When we have names like that, that's what happens. All right, everyone. We will see you next time.